already. Oh, you lucky dog. You're reading these cool things. I gotta go work. Life is so unfair.
We will never forget how Pixar blew our minds by releasing the cinematic and psychological masterpiece Inside Out in 2015. We dare say that it remains one of the most relevant movies from the studio to date. We cannot wait to see a more complex sequel with a greater and more extended view of the human mind. There are a lot of things we hope to see play out in Inside Out 2, and in this video we will discuss them and tell you why we think these things will make Inside Out 2 different. Without further delay, let's get started.
My friend Meg plays forward, and my dad's a coach. Pretty much everyone in my family skates. It's kind of a family tradition. We go out on the lake almost every weekend.
The origin of the story.
Joy. Yes, Joy? You'll be in charge of the console, keeping Riley happy all day long. And may I add, I love your dress. It's adorable.
There is a reason Inside Out turned out so beautifully, and we think that not a lot of people are aware of it. We bet you didn't know that this wholesome story about the workings of a typical human mind is pretty much grounded in a true life story. Yes, Pete Docter, the creative developer and director of the first movie, had expressed that he got the idea for the movie when he began to notice his daughter's reaction to similar problems at home. According to him, as his daughter Ellie was nearing adolescence, her sweet and bubbly character was slowly fading away. She became uneasy and began to exhibit introverted habits. Docter recalls how Ellie's growth and estrangement got to him. He felt distressed and anxious all the time and decided to channel these feelings into the creation of a movie about emotions. At the beginning of the creative process, Docter thought fear was the driving emotion behind the stage of Ellie's life.
Just shut up!
Fire! That's it. Go to your room.
But as things progressed, Docter and the team realized that it wasn't really fear that was behind the wheels, it was sadness all along. Now this is one way we think that Inside Out 2 will be different. Pete was inspired by an adolescent version of his daughter for the first movie, but now Ellie is 24 years old. We already know that Riley will be a teenager in the sequel, so it is very possible that Ellie and her emotions would not be the source of inspiration for Inside Out 2. We mean, she's an adult now. They could easily base Riley on another teenager, but that would have to be done carefully. Obviously, the last thing the filmmakers would want is for the audience to feel a disconnect from the Riley in Inside Out 2. Hopefully, Pete kept some notes on Ellie's character while she was a teenager.
It was fine, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, very smooth. That was just like Joy.
Riley's parents.
Please don't be mad.
Oh, sweetie.
We're not mad.
One way Inside Out 2 could go is by showing a little bit more of Riley's parents. We believe we speak for everyone when we say that her parents were pretty underdeveloped characters. To begin with, it is pretty obvious that in the first movie, Joy was the emotion in charge of Riley's head. Well, sadness takes over at some point, but yeah, Joy was the big dog that called all the shots. On this note, we couldn't help but notice that things are a little bit different in the minds of Riley's parents. In her mom's head, sadness is the dominant emotion, while anger runs the show in her father's mind. It was a little bit worrying to see, and it just makes us realize how little we know of them. Well, we do have a couple of ideas of our own. Who knows? Maybe her mother still regrets not ending up with that sexy Brazilian helicopter pilot she met in her youth.
Don't let anything happen to these.
Got it.
Add the reality distortion filter.
And it has caused her to dissociate from herself. It could also tell that she isn't as happy with her marriage as everyone else would think. This would definitely be a reason why sadness controls how she sees the world. Then we have Dad, who does not know the first thing about being emotionally present. With anger in charge, it's not hard to imagine that he is too busy being in his own head to pay any attention to his wife or Riley. We hope that Inside Out 2 will give us more from Riley's parents. It might be a bit darker than what Pixar family movies are usually about, but it would not be the worst thing in the world if they dared to go deeper into the adult territory. We mean, Inside Out was pretty deep, and still the kids loved it too. So if they go even deeper by dealing with the complexities of an adult mind with Inside Out 2 and manage to slap some light and kid-friendly humor in the mix, we would have another masterpiece on our hands.
Oh, no, they turned it on.
Never seen this before.
A new unsuspecting villain.
Sadness! Sadness! Come on, Sadness, where are you? Okay, if I were Sadness, where would I be?
When we say Inside Out is a psychological masterpiece, we mean that the filmmakers successfully took a deep dive into the complex mechanisms behind real human emotions. Riley's emotions are a pictorial representation of the 5 basic emotions of humans. There is anger, fear, disgust, sadness, and joy. We all feel these emotions, and one thing that Inside Out really brought together is reminding us just how important it is.
I say we skip school tomorrow and lock ourselves in the bedroom.
We have no clean clothes. I mean, no one should see us.
We could cry until we can't.
To feel each and every one of them. You might not have realized it early on in the movie, but it was staring at us in the face all along. No emotion is more important than the other, and none should be pushed aside or ignored. That being said, we will tell you that our villain of Inside Out is Joy. Hear us out before you bring out the pitchforks. The truth is Joy was simply doing too much, albeit with the best of intentions. Right from the beginning, she has always tried to control Riley's life.
Okay, not what I had in mind.
She assumes control of the others as she only wants Riley to feel happy all the time. We all saw how that turned out, right? Riley's not being able to express other emotions is what kept her from developing more emotionally. We can also point out how selfish Joy is, as she doesn't care about Sadness, Bing Bong, or any of the others. Up until the end, when she finally gets the much-needed perspective, she only cares about achieving her goals of making Riley happy. We certainly do love a villain in disguise story, and we hope to see it replay Inside Out 2. Maybe a new and even more misguided emotion would try to take charge of things. We might be wrong, but you can agree with us that it is hard to imagine any other source of conflict for Inside Out 2.
No, you're not. Coming behind you. Watch out. Watch out.
Puberty.
Weird. Graham Cracker Castle used to be right here. I wonder why they moved it. Wow, that's... I would have sworn Sparkle Pony Mountain was right here.
Remember that tease with the puberty button at the end of Inside Out? Who could forget that? On a closer look, you would notice that the button kind of looked dreadful and definitely more serious than the others on the mind control panel. This just goes to show that we are not wrong to expect that hitting the puberty button would not necessarily be dangerous, but it will wreak havoc once again in Riley's mind. We expect that there will be lots of internal emotional drama for Riley and that they will delve into specific existing dynamics.
Oh, remember the funny movie where the dog dies?
Yeah. That's not.
We can all agree that puberty comes with many physical, emotional, and psychological changes. Because of this, we think the filmmakers would show these changes in parallel with a situation of absolute chaos. Maybe new emotions would emerge and try to take over the existing ones. This is very likely because when you think about it, you will realize that it was already established in the first movie that people grow up to be a little different from how they were as kids. What better phase of life can cause such sometimes drastic changes?
I don't want to get too technical, but these are called core memories. Each one came from a super important time in Riley's life.
Box office analysis.
Very nice. Okay, looks like you got this. Very good. Oh, that's sharp turn! Ah, look out!
That's fear.
There is no doubt that Inside Out will be a smash hit for Pixar next year. If you have not thought about this, then let us crunch the numbers for you. Looking back at the numbers since Inside Out dropped in 2015, it is clear that this movie did very well. There was a total earning of $357 million from just the United States and Canada. From the rest of the world, Inside Out grossed over $502 million. This brings together a total worldwide earning of $589 million. If you take away the production budget, marketing, talent participation, and other costs, the filmmakers were left with a net profit of around $250 million. This is all very good, but we expect even bigger things from Inside Out 2.
Thank you.
Huh?
You know, through all this confusion, you've stayed... Well, you've stayed our happy girl.
It has been a long time coming for fans of the first movie, and with experience, we know that all waiting only adds to the appeal and makes everyone scramble for tickets to see the sequel when it finally arrives. Now, that is assuming Inside Out is released to the theaters alone. In this era of streaming services, Pixar would likely make Inside Out 2 available for streaming on Disney+. When this happens, you can bet that everyone will be watching Inside Out 2 for weeks after its release. This is because people who prefer to chill out home would be able to enjoy Inside Out 2. This would greatly maximize the earning potential for Inside Out 2. So we see no reason why the filmmakers would not want to go for it.
I guess all I really want to say is thank you.
Huh?
You know, through all this confusion, you've stayed.
Check out our channel for lots of content like this. Do like this video and leave a comment below. We always love hearing your thoughts on any movie we highlight. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos.
There's a station in Imagination Land. I know a shortcut. Come on, this way.